all of my even the ones that be acting, I love them all. Put out all shit, you Dragon Ball. All my exes hate me, yes. Still them all. Yeah, could really give a anymore. I'm on my own road. I don't shed tears, I shed rose. Cover this pain up, you can see it in these fashion clothes. The one I love ain't picking up the phone. Should I leave a note? Help me down, I can't leave a note, but I ain't begging either. One with making this shit up, not the leader. Got the nerve to tell me that I'm tripping like it's lucid. God always got my back, but sometimes I feel like it's lucid. They real and keeping it real, I'm killing me while keeping it drilled. Be hating, I'm seeing their tail. They doubted us, but still we prevail. I'm leading the trail and giving them hell. Respect your elder, put up like a nail. I watch the ones who hate my brother. T-Mobile, leave me tapped in. Never tapping out, put him back in. I got all of my, even them ones that be acting. I love them all. Put out, say all she see these Dragon Ball. All my exes hate me, yes. Still cook them all. Tapped in, never tapping out. Put it back in. I got all of my, even them ones that be acting. I love them all. Put out, say all she see these Dragon Ball. All my exes hate me, yes. Still cook them all.
If I'm wanting to, never tapping out, they come to play to lose. To tell the truth, should I make the rules? I don't fool when they be bad news. When it's summertime, cause I'm like spring. Hot outside, people tend to fiend. Might be in the scene, but I was on the scene. Only say from the baseline. Roll up a wood when it's face time. Hold up their mouth with a face time. Shoot the smoke, make them make down. I can do shooters like Burger House. If you get lost, you won't be found. Put you to sleep, here no sound. Every time I eat it, I'm maxing. Everybody around know I'm tapped in. I be in the trap, I've been trapping. I'm trying to get it from you in the back.
Hey. It's Wednesday morning here in Omaha, Nebraska, this place we call the Good Life. My guy to my right is the legendary Michael Fox? No, I'm sorry, Michael Scott.
Guten Abend.
Guten Abend.
Has he ever talked to you like that?
Yeah,
Just talking German and stuff.
I got that little German in me. Sprechen Sie Deutsch bitte. Hey, man, welcome, Michael. Just for the folks that don't know, in terms of from which you've come, in terms of your vast knowledge of radio, TV, and just give us a little bit in terms of just.
You want to feel old?
No, I don't.
Do you know it's been 32 years since I worked at Channel 7 News?
Wow. So
I left in 93. Yeah. 31.
So he was the news anchor for what I would think probably the leading.
When I started at Channel 7 in 1982, they were a solid number 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you old.
Wet nose punks.
Yeah, I was in high school, and
still waiting for hair to grow.
Around,
still waiting for hair to grow.
But man, your journey is really from news anchor, Entertainment Tonight, kind of just a little bit of your journey.
Yeah, I was here in Omaha, and Channel 7 became a dominant number 1 with Carol Schrader and myself at the anchor desk. I found out something interesting, though. Just a few weeks ago, Rob McCartney, who replaced me at the anchor desk, said to me, he goes, "Did you know that when you left, we weren't number 1 anymore? We dropped to number 2.
And of course, that's probably because you left.
Well, I tell you, he said
I would think
he gave it as the reason, and he said we had to fight to get number 1 back. And I said, well, good. I'm glad I left it in good hands. I'm sorry. Is the waiter coming through?
Yeah. No, I needed to. I wanted to.
Well, to finish.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, I was.
1 second. I want to make sure.
Here I am with Edison and his famous assistant.
So I can do a tag.
So I'm just going to talk, okay, folks?
Okay.
So the story is...
it's like, that's why you're so capable, man, to handle any situation.
He's trying to talk to you, man. Okay.
There we go. What I'm trying to do on my phone is just share this feed so we can kind of increase this audience here. Yeah. So I just shared it on my feed, and if you could please share on yours.
So yeah, so I went to Entertainment Tonight in 93 and got to interview a whole bunch of movie stars. And then I went across the street to CBS News, and my first week on the job was the week of the OJ murder.
Wow.
So I was in the middle of that, and I was at the Brentwood Mansion when the slow speed chase ended.
Man.
And left LA,
the white Bronco.
Came back to Omaha, worked a little bit at KMTV, ran for Congress in '98. For those of you who don't remember, I gave you Lee Terry, and left Omaha again and went to Dallas, where I was the morning anchor, and the infamous lizard video happened. For those of you who don't know, Google lizard attacks anchor. Make sure the volume's up so you can hear me screaming like a little girl. And I bopped around the rest of the country. I've lived in about 13 states.
Wow.
Yeah, I've actually received mail at 11 different cities.
Oh my
God. So, yeah, I think that's why my last wife broke up, because I was kind of like in the witness protection program. I was always moving, you know. Oh, I got the house all set. Oh, well, we got to move again.
So really, Mike, I know
you just called me Mike 3 times this morning.
Michael.
Who are you hanging around with?
But what have you in those 30 plus years of you really reporting news? What's some of the changes that you seen over the years with news and reporting?
It is, when I was in news, we were the only show in town at 10 o'clock when the news came out. People weren't streaming on things. They weren't, going on the internet to watch alternative forms of entertainment. There was really no Cox Cable. There was no Cox Cable to 84?
Yeah.
And we were the only show in town. People would come home. In fact, I convinced the station. I said to them, you know what? We should rerun our newscast at 1 o'clock in the morning, because a lot of the people coming home from the clubs.
That's true. That is.
And again,
true.
There was nothing else to look at.
Yeah.
So you just turn on the TV. Oh, there's that Michael Scott guy. I just saw him at the club.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But a question in terms of just, do you really, you being inside of news, you have a force out there that's trying to discredit media, the news. Can we still trust media based on where you've been and where we're at right now? I mean, is this true that you hear this alternative facts and fake news? We hear that we should be very leery of what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Different.
Former President Trump, during his administration, one of his main people, Kellyanne Conway, came up with the term alternative facts.
Yeah.
Facts are facts, okay? There are no alternative facts. There may be an alternative theory, but a fact is a fact. In the words of Joe Friday from Dragnet, just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Yeah. And that is probably the biggest challenge now, because you have people who are getting their news out of social media.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy. And
what would you call them then if they're not alternative facts? What are they?
I think BS is another good term for it. Okay.
Okay.
Because a lot of times they post stuff that reinforces their narrative. That's why I think you watch me in the give and take on social media.
Absolutely.
If someone says something to me, I say, show me an article from a reputable news source that will back up your theory. And that usually shoots him down, because they'll say something like, well, I heard.
Okay.
No, I heard is gossip that you do with your neighbor at the back fence. Okay.
Is it better just to say it's my opinion?
You can say it's my opinion, but again, opinions have to have facts.
Yeah.
See,
we shouldn't just be saying stuff, putting things out there. It could be your opinion about something, what I'm hearing you say, but if it's not founded, or you can't substantiate that with some facts or the foundation of that comment.
See, what is happening is that you have someone who was in power who poisoned or tried to poison the nation's mind when it comes to journalism, the judiciary system, the legislative system.
Yeah.
You basically show them as ineffective, because then you, as a wannabe strong man, will come in and say, hey, I'm going to run it now because they weren't doing it. Yeah. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
The problem with this country is
I'm going to save you.
We don't have a embrace of history. It's all laid out there. This is how it was in Germany in the early 30s. Germany had a lot of problems, and you had a guy who came in with some ideas, Hitler, to make it happen. I mean, I was arguing with somebody, and he used to be up with people too. He took exception that I compared Trump to Hitler, and I said, here's the things he said. Here are the things that Hitler said. Okay, I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
You know, and I would be an idiot. It's like you teach a kid, you put your hand on the hot stove, you're gonna get burned.
That's right.
If you do it again, you're an idiot. Okay,
that's right.
And that's how it is when it comes to history. The problem in Omaha is we are losing reputable information sources, and you're part of the reason. You used to have a weekly show called Heartland Focus,
right? NBC,
and you on WWT, and you would have newsmakers on. I've been on your show several times.
That's right. Yeah.
And they would tell people what's going on in the community. I was so aghast and agog yesterday. I'm up at Arbor Plaza, which is like 132nd and Center. There's a what's the name of that place? It's one of those little fast food spaghetti places.
Okay.
And the manager is a black guy, and the woman in the back, who I think was the main cook and assistant manager, they came out. They recognized who I was. They wanted to talk while waiting for the food to happen. And I said she said, well, do you do a show? And I said, well, yeah, I used to do a podcast last year, and I had the mayor on. And she goes, oh, I don't like the mayor. I said, why is that? She goes, well, she needs to quit. I said, why is that? And she goes, potholes. I said, and where are the potholes? And she named an area. I said, well, down in North Omaha, she has replaced 24th Street, and she replaced Lake. Potholes are potholes. They're going to come. I said to the lady, I said, you're like in your late 50s. You've been driving for 30 years, okay? Potholes are always a problem. It's going to happen. So that's the reason why you're not, because then I told her, she's voted. She's going to run again. She's running for a fourth term.
Yeah.
I said, she's running for a fourth term. In fact, she kind of teased it when she was on that show with me last year.
Okay.
She said, I think I'd like to see how all this stuff comes out. I said, go for it.
Yeah.
Because she and I are the same age.
Yeah.
51.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So so this lady, I said to her, well, what do you think about Donald Trump? She goes, is he going to run for president again? And I said,
that was a loaded question.
I said, where have you been for the last 4 months? He is running for president. He won the Republican nomination. Yeah. I said, do you watch a newscast in the course of a day? And he says, no.
Yeah, it's time to wake up. And really, this is a good segue into really, I'm your host, Tim Clark, but moving people to action, MP to action. And really what I want to talk about, Michael, is civic engagement and responsibility to all of this. I mean, you just said, okay, well, I'm not going to vote for the mayor because of potholes, right? Or what do you think about Donald Trump, former President Trump? I think part of our job, and you as former media journalism and all those kind of things, is really causing the conversation, right? So how do we cause the conversation? How do we air out differences of opinion, and then what's facts versus people's opinion? So as you look at from a global, really it's global when you think what's happening to us, but if you look at just a national perspective, what's the work? What's the civic responsibility? What's the engagement that we must wake up to every day and say, you know what, if we don't get involved, how will this get done? How will it change?
You know Vernon, right? My friend Vernon.
Yes.
Vernon lives in Baltimore. He has a fantastic job. He's making 6 figures. And last week, he asked me about financial planning.
Okay.
And I said, well, don't you belong to like some civic organizations, under black men or something like that? And he goes, no. And I said, do you just leave your house in the morning and go to work and then come back? You have nothing going on in the community?
A lot of people do that.
I said, come on, man. You live in Baltimore. There is a thriving professional black community you need to get plugged into. And I said, are you going to vote this year? He goes, oh, yeah. And I said, you need to be involved. You need to be with a voter registration drive,
So is that the action? I mean, when we talk about engagement and civic responsibility, if we localize that, it's the same thing in terms of just what are you doing? What are we doing to change really what's in front of us? We complain about if you're complaining about potholes, you complain about lots not being properly managed or sidewalks, snow removal, all the things that the city is responsible for in terms of just crime. You got to assess that and have some way of evaluating, are we better off?
Well,
how do you do that?
On the national scale, the Republican Party right now, which has been completely hijacked by Donald Trump. You know that
Really?
Donald Trump's daughter-in-law is now the head of the Republican Party. He pretty much forced the woman that was in there out. Okay? So it's his daughter-in-law now calling the shots about the money that comes into the Republican Party will go to his legal fees.
How do you awaken? I mean, people don't even like to use the word woke and all that kind of, but somebody's got to thump somebody upside the head and wake up these folks that you're talking about, because it's like, it's kind of like is right in your face. It's like, really, Michael Scott is here at 95.7 The Boss. And somebody says, well, no, Michael wasn't here. He wasn't here on Wednesday at blank time. I see it. My viewers see that he's here. Why can't that register? And why can't we get that? It's like you got a whole millions of people that's drinking the Kool-Aid, and they don't even know what flavor it is. That's crazy, Michael. What can people do locally and nationally to get in the game? If there's a such thing as, how do we awaken, get active? What are some steps, some little steps that you talked about, voter registration and things like that, but what's some other things?
Well, first of all, it's really easy. I would say 9 out of 10 of you folks out there listening, you have a cell phone in your hand, okay?
That's right.
It's a computer. Ask your computer, first of all, who's running for Congress in Nebraska? Who's running for the Senate in Nebraska this year? Go to their websites, see what they're offering. I used to be a big fan of Don Bacon, but I'm really having a problem with him right now because he's doing exactly what I said they were going to do.
Now, if we can go down that path.
Oh, you trying to help me back?
No, I'm not trying to help nobody out. What I'm trying to do is like, I want to, because I want to give folks that, especially if Trump, if we're talking about Trump, I want to, Trump folks, if you're out there listening, I want to invite you to come on the show.
I would love
people like Don on the show, people that's running against Don. I want to give equal opportunity to have those conversations in terms of the opposite side as well.
Okay, you did your disclaimer. That's due diligence. Okay. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
But the thing with Congressman Bacon is he did exactly what I said the Republican Party was going to do. They voted down the issue to save what was going on at the border because Trump said, you can't do that. You can't give Biden a win. We've got to take that out. We can't vote for it. Now, supposedly, it's a conflict. It's a crisis. It's a crisis that people are losing their lives crossing the border.
Right,
but you say, Mr. Trump, Let's wait 8 months so I can come into office and fix it. And, oh, yeah, I guess all those people, there was a crisis that were dying on the border. Well, I guess that's what happened.
We're going to put that on hold.
Yeah, we're going to put that on hold.
And this is, I think you're speaking to probably one of the fundamental core problems that I'm having in terms of this country.
Excuse me.
That the individuals, we're playing out this movie as if the individual is stronger and bigger than the whole. The common good of humanity is at stake here. But yet again, we're playing this game on just one person dictating what should happen and how you should move, how you should eat, how you should do this and that. We got to get back to putting people in office that recognize that they're here. If we say, Michael, that it's a government for the people, by the people, when are we going to, the people too have a responsibility. That's what this civic engagement and civic responsibility is about. You can't just put people in an office and not hold them accountable. You know, it's kind of like we put them in office and then we go away and kind of like, okay, and just let them just run their agenda versus our agenda. It's just we're out of sync with what keeps this democracy strong. It's people, you know. So I just I personally, I don't know how you feel, but I'm really afraid of what could happen within the next, this year, because people are not paying attention. I don't think we're having enough conversation about the republic, the democracy. We're fragile at best. That this thing could crumble, it could break, right? And we can be on this show before November talking about a strategy of stopping a civil war from happening.
You know, it's interesting. There's a new movie coming out called Civil War, and it's about the United States going to war in present day within itself.
Same.
Hollywood said, oh, yeah, I saw that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how they handle it because there are a lot of recognizable faces in the cast list. I guess I want to say to the people who are listening here, there's so much information that needs to be digested. And I know you're probably listening to Michael, God, are you upset about everything? No, I'm not upset about it, but I'm concerned about it. And you have to become more informed. As I've said to kids in high school and college, at least 30 minutes a day, watch a TV newscast. Your 10 o'clock newscast usually tells you what's happening locally and the big stories that are happening nationally or internationally. And usually that segment only takes about 12 to 13 minutes, okay? Take 12 to 13 minutes of your time and figure out what the hell's going on around you.
Yeah.
You're not in a bubble here.
Nobody's not going to do it for you.
No one's going to do it for you. And again, if someone does something in Washington, it will affect you here, okay? So don't say, oh, that's just Washington. No, this is a case where trickle down does work.
Yeah.
So that's what I say to you.
What are some things that's in front of us, state-wise, bill-wise? I know we have a short session, but is there anything that we should really pay attention to? I know we have the abortion.
Yeah, and you know what?
Stuff coming.
I am not an expert in this abortion thing. I did look a couple of weeks ago and saw that there is some legislation that's going to be considered in November in Nebraska dealing with Planned Parenthood. We got to protect those things, okay? This thing is coming down to Trump may lose because he is so proud that he took out Roe v. Wade. He's doing commercials going, hey, I did it. I'm proud of it. Well, a lot of American women saying, we're not happy with that. You're telling us how we have to deal with our bodies? They don't want you to tell. And then Florida just came out this week and said, yes, 6 weeks. a woman has a 6-week window to get an abortion. A lot of women don't know they're pregnant in the first 6 weeks. It's after they've missed maybe a second period that they go, "Uh-oh, something's going on."
Yeah. Well, that's I don't know. People sometimes they try to stay away from those hot topics and issues, but my personal opinion is that a woman should have the right to choose. Now, circumstances around when do you take that away? That's debatable, right? But why should we, as a country, try to legislate what should happen to a female's, a woman's, in terms of their right to choose, in terms of just having a child or not, based on those circumstances? So I think when we play around, we move in that direction of taking people's rights away. I mean that's really, it's been the whole fight of the civil rights movement, and it's about taking people's rights away to choose or to participate, to be a part of that solution. So I know it's, a lot of folks are on a lot of different, they're all over the place. But another issue. So that if you want to stop or change that, like you said, you're hoping that a lot of women and men get involved in the conversation and discussion about this, because it's going to be the law of the land.
Well, you see in those rallies outside the Supreme Court, a lot of men are holding signs because they're talking about their mothers and their sisters.
Yeah.
They need to have a better representation of what they want to do with their own bodies.
No, when you think about locally, specifically here in terms of North Omaha, you got that's being debated is LB 162. It's about the Inland Port Authority in North
that's
Omaha.
over here. Yeah,
it's about and there again, if someone has a little bit more factual information, please share that about LB 162, where that's being led by Senator Justin Wayne and Terrell, I believe.
McKinney, yeah.
We have not, I don't think this community has had a meaningful conversation about the pros and cons of if that's going to be good for North Omaha. And you got some money in play. You got money for a North Omaha business park, a iHub, which is a all-inclusive, very comprehensive strategies to help businesses, particularly small businesses. And what happened, I believe, with this LB 162 is they'll create this commission, and individuals will be appointed by the mayor, these seats. Now, I'm not saying, the mayor shouldn't be involved with that process. What I'm saying is that she shouldn't be the only one involved with picking those individuals.
Is this kind of a look back to when she appointed Ben Gray to the land bank? I think
absolutely.
It was. Yeah,
it's just you gotta give. You're talking about you're for the people. There's a government for the people, by the people. Damn, at least give them a chance to participate. But even your city council, you don't. I mean, right now, I think the city council pretty much just rubber stamps. Each representative from the council, in this case, Councilwoman Juanita Johnson, should have some say in giving names, helping to persuade people to get involved with these committees, but more importantly, have a voice in terms of her community of who should be on this Inland Port Authority.
Yeah, the thing is here, when I tell you about the folks who are at 132nd and Dodge, business people who don't know what's going on. And I guess the thing is, That's why they started the Electoral College 250 years ago, because most people didn't know what was going on. So they didn't trust the person's vote. They said, we got these guys, they'll do it for you. That's what Trump won before. He lost. The Republicans have not won a popular vote since George Bush. Okay.
Yeah.
They've been president, but they only get in by the electoral.
That's right. That's right. But that whole notion that we will appoint somebody to do it for you.
That's what it is. That's what the city council is.
Yeah.
That person came to your neighborhood, maybe your house, sat down, talked to you, you voted for them, and you're hoping that when they take their job, they will be representing you. Yeah. And you're hoping if they don't do it right, that you can pick up a phone and go, hey, man, why'd you vote on that? That's not what you said you were going to do. And you call them on it. You just can't be complacent. This experiment that we call democracy in the United States, it's like a bonsai tree. You have to clip a little bit here to make it form up beautifully, okay? Make it a nice presentation. You got to work at it daily to keep it going. You got to water it. You got to feed it.
Right.
And that's what democracy is.
That's right. And somebody's making a comment about really, getting the show out and promoting it more, and more people, need to see it. We most definitely, that's something we'll be working with William King on really what is those strategies to help get it out so more people can be exposed to these kind of conversations. And I think they're pointing out too, Michael, in terms of there's a commission, a state commission on African American that's appointed by the governor. And so these commissions, they really help to shape policy. And
but you can't vote on everything in government, okay?
That's right. Yeah.
You can't ask people, okay, we're starting a commission. Who do you think should be in it? Now, as the governor, you're hoping, since you voted for him, that he has people around him that are making the right decisions,
Yeah.
So, I mean, what my big cause right now for today is? Break out a pen, write this down. Area code 402-346-6666. That is WOWT's main number. Call it, leave a message with someone who answers, or leave it on a recording and ask them why we no longer have Heartland Focus every weekend showing, because it's an information source. And it's not just for the Black community. It's for the white community. It's something for the community to have better access to the people who are making decisions in our lives.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, you're really missed. Yeah. You are missed, man.
Oh, Tito, do you have any tissue?
Michael, stop.
All right, stop, Michael, stop. No, I think I did that show for about 7 years, and abruptly, it was ended. And so,
well, my understanding was it was ended because they were going through
transition,
and they said, okay, we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Well, get back to you. That's a year and a half now. They've been in the new building.
Mm-hmm. So. And but I think Channel 6, Channel 7, I think really we should hold all of our main media sources accountable for being a little bit more sensitive. They're very sensitive when something trouble is in the air, or they're going to report on bad news. Let's start holding them accountable to proactive news and reporting as well. And that's what really I used that show for, is really to tell the stories and human interest stories and issues and concerns, and people had a chance to air that out and have meaningful conversations. So I thank you for that. And and you should, if you feel that way, you should call and let them know.
Yeah, let them know. Because the thing is, they're going to do it, and they think, well, nobody called. I guess it wasn't missed.
Yeah.
We made a good move.
Yeah.
We should also understand, you do have power. You have power.
Really
In
do.
fact, last week, the powers to be with NBC News hired the woman who was the head of the RNC.
That's right.
And within 24 hours of the announcement, all the on-air talent for MSNBC said, she ain't coming on my show. Why would I have her on the show? She's the one that has perpetuated the lie.
That's about standing. And what you're saying, really kind of the core of this show is about, you just illustrated right there. They seen something, a situation, and what did they do? And it had effect, a positive effect in terms of just get rid of her.
Because the announcement was made on Friday, and by Tuesday morning, keep in mind there was a weekend there, the woman was gone.
Yeah.
Because Rachel Maddow on Monday night put her piece in, and she is the main peacock over there, you know?
Okay.
And she goes, no, that ain't going to work.
Yeah. But I think that at that high level, Micheal, how we drill that down to just things that's happening in our communities, right in front of us. And I think what I hear you're saying is, excuse me, somebody decided that this is not going to work for me.
I'm sorry about that.
Or it's not going to work for us. And they came together and they communicated that. And leadership, they listened and they acted because of consequences. Sometimes there is no accountability. You don't have consequences. You continue to have the same things, and people feel they can push over you when you don't have no, hey, you do this, I'm gonna do that. So, hey, anything else high level or low level right here in terms of when you think about news, national? There's a lot going on. We got the wars.
Oh God,
man, that's just.
How are we on time here?
We got a little bit. We got a little bit more time.
Right now, Israel is still enacting retribution for what happened October 7th.
Yeah.
Okay, they were attacked. It was an act of war. It was like us getting bombed at Pearl Harbor. The next day, we declared war. Okay. The whole thing is there were hostages taken.
Right.
And for the first few months, there was a hostage here let out. And Israel right now is going, we need to destroy Hamas. Yes, we need to destroy Hamas. But people, the populace is getting hurt at the same time. And again, this is war.
Right.
Back in World War II, American and British planes bombed the hell out of a city called Dresden because it was a major manufacturing hub for the Nazis, okay? There were citizens there. They got killed. It's a war. And I understand the concern. I grieve for the people of Palestine. And I believe in the sanctity of the Israeli state. But again, you have a leader of Israel who his own people were getting ready to throw his butt out of office. Okay? He has scandal. Right now, the best thing that could happen to him was the war. You know? And we've had that happen in our country where people are going, it's called wagging the tail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get the people all excited about something else. They'll forget that I'm crooked, which is what Donald Trump does. Yes. Distractions. The thing that happened this week where 7 aid workers in cars that were marked that they were delivering food were attacked by Israeli planes out in the open in the daytime. You mean those planes couldn't see that this car was all marked and that already had clearance to be in that area? So what do they have? A few bombs left. In fact, let's drop them off on the way home, okay?
Yeah.
I would not be surprised that when this hostilities ends, we will find out that those hostages are already dead. They've probably been dead, and Israel is not going to say anything. I don't know if you remember this. In January, Israel is in part of Gaza blowing things up, and 3 men come running at them with a flag, a white flag, and they shoot them down. They were hostages. They're killing the hostages. So, I can understand. You got to get Hamas out of here. You got to get them out of there. It's like having Nazis. They have completely taken over the people. The people, you figure the money that Hamas was getting is it went into the tunnels that they're building underneath underneath Gaza. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos. These tunnels,
yeah.
I mean, they're not like just someone dug a
That's
hole.
right.
It's
That's
got
right.
concrete and everything in it and lights running down them.
A lot of effort, time, and resources.
And this was going on. And again, when Hamas attacked on October 7th, it was during a ceasefire. There was a ceasefire since March. So people right now are going, we need a ceasefire. We need a ceasefire. Why should we trust them with a ceasefire? They're just going to use it to rearm and come at us again. You got, any exterminator will tell you, you got to get the insects out of the house, okay?
Right.
If you don't get where they're living, they're going to come back and come back and come back.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole lot to untangle. Very, very sensitive issues, and people have various opinions on what should, how do we move forward? How do we untangle that? But one of the things in terms of just moving back to North Omaha, there's a lot in the next 90 days, Michael, in terms of just with the Recovery Act and the monies that's going to be kind of flowing to North Omaha. It's going to be very important that we stay engaged and stay involved, and have a accountability component, because there's a whole lot of eyes that's going to be watching what happens and how people are spending this money. And really, I think what's going to be important is that the folks, the grantees that received a lot of the money, you're talking about over $300 million plus, that you do what you say you're going to do. Because what the feds and what the state is going to hold you accountable to is what did you say? What do you say you're going to do? How you told them, you got to tell them how you're going to spend the money, right? And so that's important, that we try to stay informed. And Nebraska Department of Economic Development, if you want to learn about these grantees and why they got the money, a description of their program of work for the money, all that is public knowledge on the website of the Department of Economic Development. So go out there and or call the organization. Have you heard that Charles Drew got some money, or Malcolm X Foundation got money? Whoever that you've heard in terms of that got money, call them, ask them in terms of what are you going to use those monies for? How is this going to impact our community? So that's important.
You got a big thing coming up tomorrow, right?
Yeah, well, we have
the Jet Awards.
The Jet Award, yeah.
Oh, those 2 tickets. That's mine. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Actually, I have yours in the car. I'm gonna try to give these tickets away. And so we have some tickets. Tell me what you have in your hand. What's here? So the Jet Award, which Johnny Rogers and some team of folks.
Johnny Rogers.
Jet Rogers.
Now, who is he?
He's Heisman. Right. So Johnny the Jet Rogers, Denny Drake, and Coach Reed, and some other folks over 10 plus years.
Willis Reed?
Yes.
He's going to be here?
No, Coach, not Willis Reed.
Man,
but
I'm a New Yorker, man.
He was a legendary football coach here in Omaha at Central High School.
Okay, yeah.
Coach Reed. So they're kind of the founders, and but the thing is, they really stood up this national sports event that recognized punt returners, and Johnny was really one of probably the best in college football.
Yeah, had him standing in the aisles.
Absolutely. There you go. You've heard that line before. But that's going to take place on April 4th at the Baxter Arena.
That's tomorrow, man.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's tomorrow. And Larry the Cable Guy is going to be part of their entertainment more in terms of after the award ceremony.
Now, he lives in Nebraska, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because, Wanda Sykes would have been funnier. But
I do agree. So yeah, so if you can go to the Jet Award Foundation to learn more information about that event that's coming up. And what I like about it is, since the beginning, the proceeds after expenses and things like that, it's going to support individuals that's trying to make a better life for themselves. And so they've partnered with Metro Community College, where Metro is matching what they raise, and that goes to provide scholarships for students that have interest in pursuing a higher education in the trades. And people think of when you think of the trades, what come to mind? Just the word trades. Going to school for the trades.
I'm thinking of the NFL when I hear
no,
trades.
Not trade.
But I think of a skill. Are you a mechanic? That's a trade. Are you a carpenter? That's a trade. Are you a legal aid? That's a trade. It's something you do to make a living. That's your trade.
So it's not in a traditional sense of just construction, plumbing, electrical work. There's all types of trade. There's wheel trades, body mechanics, auto mechanics, and health trades. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. And so the Jet Award, they support those kind of things.
That's good.
And they support those kind of things. Hey, health-wise, let's do a health check. Let's do a quick wellness check. How you doing, man?
I'm going to talk about my health out here.
Yeah.
A lot of folks.
Just more in terms of encouraging people to do something to better their situation.
As many of you know, in July last year, I wound up in the emergency room. I had acute renal failure, stage 4 kidney disease. I've been to a bunch of doctors, dietary changes, and I've gotten past it. I'm no longer a scare for dialysis or anything. I'm like stage 1.
Man. So hey, beautiful. That's a blessing. And so, kind of a self or wellness check for myself is that, I'm still, after a year now of removing my prostate due to prostate cancer, I'm getting better. I'm getting better each day. And I know some folks out there that's facing that same decision you have to make in terms of what do you do about your prostate.
Well, I have a procedure April 19th for my prostate. Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of be proactive and.
Well, no.
Are you in a discovery?
Let's just say I'm having a procedure.
Okay. Let's leave it there. But the thing is this: the willingness to go and get checked, and if you don't have a primary health care provider, a doctor that they know you, that's how you really prevent things from happening. And then if things are happening, that's how you are able to detect that. And that's how I was able to diabetes, hypertension, all those kind of things, because of annual exams, annual physicals, and things like that on a consistent basis. So I really would encourage you, as a action step, if you have not been to the doctor in 3, 4, 5 years.
I know some folks like that. Black people, older than me.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, black, white, blue, the point is, because of just you being an African-American male, myself, we have to be, as black folks, males, more proactive in terms of just on the prevention side. Colon cancer, all those kind of things. Those are things that we can have some sort of intervention, and in some ways, keep you from dying from those things.
Are you taking vitamin D?
I do.
Because of the prostate, right?
Well, no, I've been really kind of on the vitamin D just because I don't get enough sun. And
one of my doctors a month ago put me on vitamin D, and just 2 days ago, I read an article about vitamin D and black men when it comes to prostate cancer.
Mm.
Yeah, it's something they need. They don't have in their system.
From a reliable source.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
The what's it called? The NABJA, the medical journal, the American Medical Journal. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to look.
You know what?
Look, it's a problem when you gotta take off your glasses.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna miss McDonald's breakfast because we're running late.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Also, I got to do a phone call with Ted at 11.
Okay. Well, hey man, thank you. I appreciate you. I'll wrap up the show. You go ahead and take those tickets.
I ain't chasing you all tomorrow.
But let's connect later on. Thank you for taking the time to be here, Micheal. And I really would like to continue to have your input in terms of as the world turns right here from North Omaha.
Tim, I want people to hear me say this. Whatever it takes for you to get the positive word out, I'll be there for you.
Right on.
Okay? Because I know the importance of it. Information is important.
Yeah.
He who holds the information sometimes holds the power. Okay?
Yeah.
You
right
need
on.
to be a better informed populace, and it's not happening.
Right on. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And until next time, take care of one another.
Okay, I would say that's his line. That's his line. I will not steal that. But hey, I want to, as I'm wrapping up here, a couple other things that I want to bring to our attention. With this whole thing of, we have an election primary coming up, I believe May 14th. District 13, that seat, it's going to be available. We have things that are going to be available here in North Omaha as well. Let's figure out, how do we get involved? If you're not registered to vote, you have time to get registered to vote. If you need to learn about the candidates, and so you can be a little bit more educated about topics and legislation that's going to be on the ballot, let's NAACP, there's organizations out there that you can get that information. Our Douglas County Election Commission is one of those sources. Douglas County Election Commission. And but let's get the information. Let's help each other. This is a good time to have a conversation of family members, community folks. Are you registered to vote? If not, can I help you? How do I help someone? And so I think let's develop some teams and reach out to people to help get them registered. Encourage them to not stand on the sidelines and watch this thing go by. We have to get involved. There's a lot of issues, a lot of legislation that will change our lives. And so how do we better get informed about that? Another thing that I wanted to touch base on is, events. There's a lot of, you got Juneteenth coming up. These events, they can't happen and won't continue to happen unless we decide to support them. We got to support the events. And most of all, we got to buy tickets in advance. When you have promoters and folks that are risking, putting their money on the line to bring in talent, we got to give them some confidence that their investment is going to be made good by not waiting at the last minute to get your tickets. Not waiting at the last minute to get your tickets. And so as you see artists coming to the Midwest or anywhere in this country, be proactive. Buy your tickets in advance. Most promoters and facilities, they have a policy, a reimbursement policy, where you can get your money back. So there's not, it ain't like you're risking not losing your money. You're not risking that. So get your tickets in advance. Get your tickets in advance. It just gives our promoters and facilities that's really trying to provide entertainment for us some confidence. Confidence. I do want to take the time. I spent some time in one of our local middle schools this week, and it was very encouraging, really, to visit some of the students, talk with some of the faculty and staff there. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you. I was at Monroe Junior High School this week, and I got a chance to talk with the principal, Tony Gunner, and some other staff. I'm really, really pleased to see that level of commitment and passion for what they do. They need the community, the village. We have to do our part. They cannot do it by themselves. Public education is currently under attack. And this is part of, if we don't get involved in the conversation about public education, what we experience, what we see now, is going to continue to be diluted, resources just taken, and it could be the end of what we've known as public education, in my opinion. So figure out a way that we can advocate for public education, support these schools, call your school, and if you got time, you have the talent to be able to tutor someone, a student, math, reading, writing. We have to activate the village, the churches, community centers. How do we create safe places for the community to be able to go take their children to, adults can go to study, to get homework assistance? Those are the kind of things that I think we can do. We can do as a community. When you think about math, just really focusing on those core subjects, math, reading, and writing. How do we get those skills up? And I got a chance to, through the 100 Black Men, I got a chance to read at Educare of Omaha. And that's one of the things in terms of my action is at least once a month, my goal is to go read a book to students. And I would love to see more of us do that, particularly Black men. I think our children need to see more Black men pick up a book and read. That this is a fundamental, basic skill that you must have. And so I'm choosing. I'm going to be one of the schools that I'm going to be focusing on is Monroe Junior High School, and so I'm going to be focusing on spending time there to figure out ways that I can help. We don't have to just talk about this thing. We can move some things to action. And I'm really looking at the man in the mirror and saying and asking myself, what can I do to better what's in front of me? What can I do? We're so quick to point fingers at what everybody else is doing or not doing, but look in the mirror and we got to start with self first. We got to start with self first. And every time I'm reminded of that, every time I choose to fly, when visually you see and hear, put your mask on first before you try to help anybody to your right, to your left. Put your mask on first. And I think we got to practice that in life. That's what I try to practice. I'm not perfect, you know. I'm a work in progress, you know, but is what we can do. We have a new superintendent, Matt Ray. This is the largest school district in Nebraska that's really coupled, that's really have a plethora of challenges and opportunities. I'm in the cafeteria eating with the students, and you know, I'm engaging with the students, and multiple times running into students that, of course, English was not their first language. You know, very obvious difficulty in communicating with them because of that situation where they're learning English. So you have all these, and then you got poverty. When you look at the number of students that's in OPS that's on free and or reduced lunch, their level of poverty. Poverty causes it's a direct correlation between poverty and skill and really you know, mental, physical health. Poverty. And so how do we look at skilling up our community, focusing on jobs and retooling? And that's really where Metro Community College, some folks may choose University of Nebraska Lincoln, UNO, or a trade school. There's a lot of resources out there to remove barriers. So that's important. So to the teachers, our administrators, our custodians, secretaries, all the folks, the security guards, police officers, everybody that makes up that team, and really a major component of the team as we look at it takes a village to raise a child is the parent. The parent is at the foundation of building a team to help our students and our children be successful. We have to figure out how do we empower and give parents more tools to help them be successful at parenting. We're not born with that skill set. We see it, and whatever we do to get seek the knowledge, but we're not born with that. And so, how do we help individuals that are seeking and want more? I don't know. I think the majority of parents, they don't raise their hand and say, I want to be a bad parent. Most of them, I believe, they're doing what they know to do. And some of them just don't have the knowledge to do better. And the team. So that's where we got to, activate, become parent mentor, and choose to help them navigate that. That's difficult. The next thing is parents. It was a study done here in Nebraska in terms of students that are graduating. About 35% of students are clueless, and which, you know, ain't all a bad thing, but I think we got to get that number down. 35% or greater don't have an idea of what's next for them after high school. The work is, how do we create more paths, create more awareness, career exploration, things like that, to help them explore before they become a 12th grader, all these opportunities, so they can better be prepared to make decisions in terms of their career paths. In terms of short-term certifications, sometimes short-term could be 6 weeks to 10 months. It could be a 2-year associate degree, or it can be a transfer degree, 2 years of community college, and then moving to a 4-year to complete. We gotta put more options on the table. If someone do not want to go that associate degree, go just get a trade, get your CDL license, or get some IT certification. There's so many out there. And so parents, if you don't know, you'll never know if you choose not to raise your hand and ask for help. Asking for help is a sign of strength, because it's a sign that you want to get better, you want to learn something, you want to move forward. So parents, if you're confused, if you're stressed about something that's in front of you, ask for help. Your job, coworker, your pastor, community person, somebody has been through what you're going through. So ask for help. Raise your hand, ask for help. Students, we know Ventry, Martine, Leonard, Judy, that in order to get better, that just don't happen unless you put in the work. And so we have students sitting in these classrooms, they're going home to their parents, and they're having challenges with reading, writing, and math. As a student, we got to encourage our students to ask for help. But more importantly, parents, you got to know where they're at. We all have to have a baseline. Are they, fundamental question, are they reading at grade level? Math, grade level. So we can have a baseline in terms of where they're at, and a strategy of putting around them to improve them. So that's important. And we can do this. We can better the situation that's in front of us. It's where we decide to put our time and attention. I choose not to put most time on just talking about the problem. I want to put majority of the time on the solution. So as we're airing out and having debate and conversation and discussion, please, with any of these things that we've talked about this morning, if you have some ideas about solutions or a path or way forward, please share that. That's important that we put more out there in terms of how do we improve the situation versus we just spend time beating it down, beating it down, beating it down. How do we improve the situation? So that's what we want to be about. How do we improve the situation? I want to thank you for taking the time. I'm going to try to lean here and see some of the comments that is on here. Yeah, and I think one comment is about it's always on the residents to call and get the information. These organizations, I agree with you. These organizations, Rogers, that's getting these funding, getting funding, they could be a little bit more proactive at reaching out to the residents and people that need these services to make sure that people understand they have options. So, all these organizations, I believe we can do a better job at outreach of figuring out how do we engage, how we inform, how do we increase the awareness of tools and resources to help with your current situations. Absolutely. Your point on. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my man, Leonard Johnson, Emerald Cuts, landscaping, full service landscaping company that's out there. And then Mustang Electrical Services, full service. They're currently, I'm not renovating, but I'm building out my basement. And so Mustang, they're doing a superb job, outstanding job. Also, my man Seneca Plumbing, Harrison Plumbing. We have to be more intentional about where we spend our money. And there again, I'm looking inward versus outward, where I choose to spend my money. I choose to spend my money in terms of building out my basement with small businesses, minority businesses, to help support that ecosystem. North Omaha, South Omaha. South Omaha is doing it more than North Omaha. When I'm speaking here in Nebraska, I think across the country, how do we be more intentional about where we spend our money? Some cultures have done a really good job at making sure they spend money with each other. We don't do that as much as we should. We don't do it as much as we should. On Sundays after church, when I choose to go out to eat versus eating at home, I'm very, very aware and very intentional about where I go to eat in supporting small businesses and minority businesses. My man Walker, what's up, my man? Just open up your convenience store. Why don't you put that in the comment, man? Where can we support you? I know, Judy, you just came on. You were just on the show. But I think let's sound off in terms of maybe put in the chat a small business that you recommend someone else supporting, that you've had success. They said it and they did it, and you were happy with it. and let's sound off and put in the feed in terms of your place of business or somewhere where a business that you will recommend someone patronizing. We have to do that. We got to support our businesses. It's important. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you moving people to action where we try to listen, learn, and hopefully it causes folks to move. But you never can move if you don't have the information. And information is power. And so we have to better inform ourselves. We have to ask the tough questions. I think, one of the things that I would like to really put out there for us to learn more about is LB 162, the Inland Port Authority. What I know so far is that I don't want the mayor to be the only person to choose those commissioners. I think the city council should weigh in. We elect them to represent us, and so they should have some say in this new Inland Port Authority. They should have some say in that, and the community should have input and more discussion about the pros and cons of that. Is that really a positive move to support North Omaha, and how will it benefit? I'm not saying I'm against it. I want to learn more about it. That's all. So, June, what's up over at the Urban League? Doing the work, doing what's necessary to win and change lives over there. There's a lot of organizations out there that's just waking up every day doing the work, and I just thank you. Just like Omaha Public Schools, the staff, parents, we just can't do it if it's not really if we don't find common good to maximize our ability to be impactful. So that's what it's about. Thanks for tuning in. Some ideas about future guests. Don't hesitate to inbox me or call me. I'm going to have Ashley Spivey was named USA Woman of the Year for Nebraska. And so I'm looking at having her come on. We'll have some folks come on from MCC to talk about some of these things I talked about, as far as micro certifications or opportunity to skill up and resources to help you get that done. So yeah, got a lot of ideas about what's happening, but I'm going to be engaged this year. I'm so excited. You'll see me do more as far as entertainment, live entertainment, and supporting existing events, but also curating new events as well. So I'm really excited about that. Martine, this is tax season. So if you need help with that, I see that she's on here. Put your information in there so people could know how to reach out to you as well. Because this is about, part of the village is about sharing. Sometimes we keep good news to ourselves. Let's share how people can better themselves. If you have it, if you have the secret sauce, let's share that. Let's share that secret sauce. Okay. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah. Advanced tax. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I use another minority small business. I use Hayes and Associates, and but you got a lot of different sources out there, and so yeah. But let's use small business as part of our everyday spend, if possible, to support small business. Right on. You guys make sure you share this feed. And until next time, do what's necessary to keep leaning forward and take the time to be good to yourself. If that doesn't happen and you're waiting for somebody to do that for you, man, I just don't know where that ends. So take the time to be good to yourself, mind, body, and spiritually. Take the time to breathe deeper, more. Take deep breaths in, and hold it for 4 to 5 counts. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Hold. Exhale through your mouth. So as I end this show, I'm inviting you to breathe with me, okay? And so here's how we're gonna do this. When I go like this, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the intake of air. Hold, and we're gonna exhale, going down like that. And should exhale. And so let's do that. Do that with me. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Ready? Breathe. Up. Exhale. Come on, Judy. Come on, Martine. Breathe with me. Inhale. Exhale. I'm ready. We're going to inhale one more time. I want you to hold for Brother King. I want you to do this too, man. I want to check your lung capacity, make sure you're good. So we're going to inhale, take as much air in as possible. We're going to hold for 20 seconds. All right. 20. Now, again, if you can't hold for 20 seconds, you may want to go to the doctor and check and make sure something is not going on in your lower respiratory system. Okay, we should be able to hold for at least 20 seconds, King. All right. 20 seconds. All right. Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna try to go for 30. All right. I mean, you're a baller, you're competitive. Yeah, I'm competitive. Try to go for 30 with me. Right. Okay, here we go. Come on, Leonard. Come on, Ventry. Come on, man. Come on, let's see where you at. Okay, here we go. Inhale. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. You still hold? Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So just if you cannot do that, you can practice, you can build your capacity to be able to do that. So let's breathe deeper and breathe. We got to breathe, but I want you to breathe deeper. Most times we shallow breathe, and you shouldn't speak. You shouldn't breathe. You shouldn't talk to breathe or speak to breathe. Breathe to speak. Breathe and then speak. Your tones will be supported. You're gonna sound better, all that good stuff, because you've done it properly. Breathe and then speak. Right on. I'm out. Thank you so much. God bless you. Yeah. I got Fred online.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it comes to like 7 commercials a day for 14 days. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So about every other hour, you have one on from like noon to 2 a.m. on TV. Now, if you want to do the app, you know what I mean? You can get for $1,000, you can get 24,000 commercials in each one of those.
Just trying to breathe, brother.
Baby, here I am, I'm a man on the scene. I can give you what you want, but you got to go home with me. I forgot some good old love, and then I got some in store. When I get through throwing it on you, you got to come back for more.